Welcome back to week 11 of the Prop Shop Sunday Night Football Edition. I am your host, PropHolliday, also known as Bobby Stanley in the real world, rocking with the GoldBoys. Now, a couple things to cover. One from the 1 p.m. games. Jake Paul, Friday night, defeats Mike Tyson. Money was all over my money, my personal money. I gave it out on Twitter, was the fight not going the distance. I felt really good about that. These guys decided to have a dancing session. Paul respected Mike Tyson too much, had no intentions of really hurting him at any point. Wobbled him pretty bad in the third round. I thought it was over from there. That's when he started really looking rigid and his knees started to buckle. And I thought it was done, and he never really pounced on him. So that was kind of done intentionally. They were playing keep away. So we got Jake Paul bettors. It was easy money. I think it was like minus 200 at close in that ballpark. So if you played Jake straight up, good for you. If you're like me, you got burned. John Jones beat Stipe Miocic, which a vicious spinning heel kick followed by ground and pound and stoppage. Miocic retires immediately after the fight. John Jones says, "You're going to have to throw fuck you money at me in order for me to fight Tom Aspinall. He wants Pereira." Something will get done, but everybody wants to watch John Jones fight. Not that impressive to me that he beat Stipe off, like 3.5 years. The last fight he had, he got knocked out cold by Ngannou. He was great, all-time great heavyweight Stipe Miocic, but the version that John Jones beat, not that impressive to me. Packers beat the Bears, going to Sunday, 1 p.m. Packers beat the Bears 20-19. Home divisional underdog covers. If you ever see a home divisional dog, bet the spread. The Bears lose by 1. Rams beat the Patriots. Stafford has 4 touchdowns. Kupp has 2 of them. Puka had 1. Both had 100 yards receiving. First time that happened this year. Lions dismantle the Jacksonville Jaguars 52-6. Dolphins beat the Raiders. Jonnu Smith, 2-tutty performance. 2 back-to-back wins for the Miami Dolphins. Something could be brewing there as a wild card spot, but they're looking decent. Saints scored 21 unanswered in the fourth quarter to beat the Browns. Jerry Jeudy had arguably the best game of his career, 142 yards and a touchdown. Taysom Hill with back-to-back 2 touchdown performances. So good stuff for the Saints. They have a bye week, and then it gets a little bit easier on the schedule, my Rams being a part of that, but they could get it back on track for the second half of the season. So it's starting to feel like football season now. Thanksgiving's 2 weeks away. It's starting to get a little bit cold. These games matter a little bit more. Really feels like it's football season at this point. No more international games, hopefully. Jets continue to find a new level of rock bottom. They lose to Anthony Richardson's 2 touchdown performance back under center. There's no one left to cut or fire for the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers is going to have to sit in his own mess for the rest of the season. Steelers beat the Ravens at home 18-16. They need to be taken serious as contenders in the AFC. They are 28-1 on FanDuel to win the Super Bowl. Doesn't mean you let it ride, but if they win the AFC, you have a really good hedge opportunity. They look awesome defensively. I think they're a top 3 defense in the NFL. They have a running game. They have 2 decent backs that bring something different to the table in Jalen Warren and Najee Harris. They have wide receivers now with Pickens. They have tight ends with Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, Cash for us in the Discord, and Russell Wilson's playing good football. They're a team to be reckoned with. They moved to 8-2 on the season, and I think take a lead in the AFC North. Speaking of the AFC North, we have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Chargers tonight in Sunday Night Football. 2 of the best young quarterbacks in the league, Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. The Bengals are 4-6. The Chargers are a lean 7-4, and they're 1.5-point favorites over the Bengals at home tonight. Bengals get T. Higgins back after missing 3 straight games. Worth mentioning, Bengals are 3-2 on the season with Higgins in the lineup. Straight up. The Chargers, number 1 in the NFL in opponents' points per game, but this total, I think, is set at 47.5. So both teams, I think the run pass split, I was looking at PFF last night, both at 65, 66%, above 60% on the pass side, not so much on the rush side. I'm hoping to close out Sunday on a high note. I think it's going to be an exciting game. Hopefully we get a little bit more scoring than we did in the 47-point total of the Ravens and the Steelers. But we got some quarterbacks back there. My first play for tonight is on the passing game of the Los Angeles Chargers. Going with Justin Herbert, over 20.5 completions. It's minus 138 on FanDuel, but I'm putting 1.5 units on it. If you get the 21.5, bring that unit size down to 1 unit. But Herbert's playing the best football, arguably, of his career over the last 4 games. His passer rating has not dipped below 111 in the past 3 games. He's completing 68% of his passes, over the last 4, and I do think this is going to be somewhat of a shootout. Bengals have accumulated the 4th fewest sacks in the NFL. Their pass rush is bottom 10. For Herbert, he's completing 72% of his passes when not under pressure. So it aligns up perfectly for him to sit back there and sling it tonight. I've seen this as high as 22.5. Don't play it at 22.5, but at 20.5, I love it. 21.5, it's still good for me. 22.5, I would shy away. For Herbert failed to come near this line in 2 straight games, but the matchups were 2 of the worst offenses in the league. He was playing the Browns and the Titans, so you can get a little bit more conservative on the play script, the game script. They did not need to go pass heavy in those two games. They relied heavily on the run. Against Cincinnati, expect Herbert to rely on his arm. I do hope we get the shootout. 1.5 unit play for me. Over 20.5 completions for Justin Herbert. Am I picking a side? Jay Trinidad. I'm going with the Chargers, -1.5. I don't mean to pile on the Bengals. I do think the Chargers are playing some of the better football in the league, Justin Herbert specifically. They get Gus Edwards back last week, 10 carries, 55 yards. We'll talk about more on him, but I'm taking the home favorite. I would lay the 1.5 for the Chargers, and I know there's no real home field advantage. First, have you been thinking of trying FanDuel? Have you ever heard of FanDuel? Here's a great offer for you. Bet just $5, and if your picks hit, you get 150 in bonus bets. Do not miss out. Check out the link in the description below and make your first bet count. Remember, you must be 21 plus to participate. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Thank you, FanDuel. A lot of my bets usually come from FanDuel on at least the touchdown side. They have some of the better touchdown odds. Bet365 used to have some of the best touchdown odds, and they got really, really sharp this year. DraftKings, occasionally you'll get one, but FanDuel is usually where I go for touchdowns. Before we go into the touchdown liquor cabinet, I have another cross-sport parlay. I didn't go heavy on the straights in this game. I obviously gave you the 1.5 unit Herbert. But I'm having a lot of fun with these cross-sport parlays. We do have a decent NBA slate tonight, but nobody's really focusing on that. I put together a 3-leg parlay across NBA and NFL. It's plus 14.26, so about 14.5 to 1 on your money. Go small on this. Go a quarter of a unit, half a unit if you had a good day. But going to kick it off. Fred VanVleet, 20-plus points. Heather B. in my Discord pointed this out, and then I did a little bit of digging, and she is correct. Thank you, Heather. He's an Illinois guy, heading back to Chicago, playing the high-paced Bulls. It helps that the Bulls are bottom 10 in defending pick-and-roll ball handlers, and they're bottom 10 in scoring in transition. Those are 2 big areas for Fred VanVleet. They're also 19th in spot-up defense. So he's going to take a couple extra shots. I'm assuming there's going to be some family there for Fred VanVleet. He had 20 last season against the Bulls. I know his role is kind of diminished a little bit. Amen Thompson is a game-time decision, so if they shrink that lineup a little bit, it may bode well for him. But Fred VanVleet, 20-plus. He's flirted with this most of the season. He's been 16, some 18s, 120-plus game. Starting off with Fred VanVleet, 20-plus. Going down to Norman Powell, 20-plus. Gets the Utah Jazz on a back-to-back. He's averaging 23.6 points per game, hitting 69% of games this season. So Powell, 20-plus. And then Jamar Chase, the best wide receiver in the NFL, 100-plus in prime time. Those 3 legs, Fred VanVleet, 20-plus, Norman Powell, 100-plus. And Chase, it's going to help the contract negotiations where he's saying, I'm blowing up in prime time. I had 3 touchdowns last week. Everybody's paying attention. I would not be shocked to see him follow that up with a total at 47.5. So really quickly, before we go into the touchdown liquor cabinet, put in that for a quarter of a unit. Half a unit if you're having a good day, plus 14.26, 20 Powell, 20 Fred VanVleet, 100 for Jamar Chase. A couple words from my buddy Brad before we go into the touchdown liquor cabinet.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the GoldBoys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the GoldBoys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
Welcome back, guys. Thank you, Brad Thomas. Talking over my producer, Tone, who's a big Bengals fan. He's happy that I'm back in Chase. He's not happy that I'm back in the Chargers. It's a bit of a love-hate thing we have as a Rams fan. He remembers the Super Bowl. Jamar Chase is my top shelf TD score for tonight. I normally don't give out negative odds stuff. This is minus 105. It's practically a coin flip. It's practically even money. He has 10 touchdowns on the season. He's coming off 3. I'm expecting this to be somewhat of a back and forth. I even though T. Higgins is back, if I can get Jamar Chase at even money, the way he's playing football right now, I'm taking it. Yes, I'm laying 5 cents on the dollar. That's I can live with that. But he's a 1-unit play for me tonight. Jamar Chase gets in the end zone. We got him for 100 plus in the cross-board parlay. Going down to my mid-shelf, I got 2 mid-shelf guys today. And when your total's over 45.5, you can have 2 mid-shelf guys. 5 touchdowns on the season for Quentin Johnson. I'm getting plus 250 on him. It's like plus 200, plus 210 on a few other books. FanDuel at plus 250. Explosive guy. He's going to see a lot of Cameron Taylor-Britt this Sunday. No player has allowed more yards or more touchdowns in coverage than Taylor-Britt for the Cincinnati Bengals. So mid-shelf, going a quarter of a unit on Quentin Johnson. And then Gus Edwards plus 240 is my other mid-shelf for a quarter of a unit. The Bengals have allowed more rush attempts inside the 5-yard line than any other team in the NFL. They've given up 30. That's 11 more than the second worst in the NFL. So I'm expecting, I mean, they're stopping them at 37% a clip, which is good. That's a good number. But the fact that you've given up 30 rushes inside the 5 means I got to have some money on Gus Edwards. Came back last week, had 10 carries for 55 yards. He hasn't found the end zone yet. He originally started the season as this dual back role with J.K. Dobbins. He got off to a slow start. Dobbins got off to a much better start. But he comes back from injury, 10 carries, 5.5 yards a carry. Against the Bengals team, they're giving up that many rushes inside the 5. Gus Edwards gets his first touchdown tonight. So I'm doing quarter of unit at plus 240 on the mid-shelf. And then Vaca, Gus Bus, 2 touchdowns, 21-1, put a 1/10 of a unit on there. I'm talking if you're betting $100, put $10 on this. 2 touchdowns for Gus Edwards. This was a 10 touchdown guy last season for Harbaugh's brother. Brings over the offensive coordinator over there from Baltimore with him to run this offense. I think Gus Edwards gets in once, and if he gets in once, we got to bet him again. So that is my touchdown liquor cabinet. Chase on 1 unit, Quentin Johnson a quarter, another quarter on Gus Edwards, and then Gus Edwards 2 tutties for a 1/10 of a unit, just to manage your bankroll properly. Crossboard parlay, quarter of unit on that, plus 14.26. Fred VanVleet 20 plus, Norm Powell 20 plus, Jamar Chase 100, and then my 1.5 unit straight play, Justin Herbert over 20.5 completions. A little bit juicy, but well worth the squeeze. Guys, I will see you tomorrow for Monday Night Football. I think it's Texans Cowboys. I haven't taken a look yet, but I'll be up all night taking a look at that one. See you tomorrow at 5:30. Good luck.